It's your boy Polo Evolve, and I'm back with another video. Today's video, just a quick little recap of how my week went, more particularly my trading week. I'm gonna show you guys the results on the screen, how this week went and how last week went, and what were the differences between the 2 weeks, and what I did right, what I did wrong, what I could have done better, and what I did in fact do better, and what mistakes did I make as well. So, as you guys can see from the results of last week, I went 4-1, or actually I went 1-4. So I won one trade and I lost four, or not. Well, actually, let me rephrase that. I won one trading day, so I had a winning day, and I lost 4 days, so I had a losing day. And ever since I started this funded account, before I even get into this, the flow of this, I want to explain to you guys how I even got here in the first place. I've been trading for about 5-6 years now. Started in the Forex space, moved to futures in last year, August 2025, around there. Got funded a couple of times, never got a payout. I did get one payout with Forex prop firms, funding pips. I got like $5,000 back in 2024, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. And from there, I want to say it was like a lucky payout. I never got a payout after that for quite some time until I moved to futures and got funded a couple of times. Blew those funded, and then eventually I got paid out in December. I started off with $1,000 payout. Then I got a $2,000 payout on the same funded account. Blew that account, and then I tried to scale up, and I managed to get another payout of $3,000 across 3 accounts. So it was actually $1,000 across 3 accounts. And then I ended up blowing that account again. And I tried to scale up more. I tried to get 5 accounts under the belt, and I was floating profit. I had maybe $5,000 floating profit across all accounts, and then I ended up blowing those accounts as well. So all in all, to say that I've been kind of up and down recently, I have seen a little bit more success. I've been getting funded, got a couple of payouts under the belt, but I haven't been able to be consistent enough. And what I've noticed in the last little bit is that in order for me to actually become consistent with getting payouts, I need to bring my risk down. And what worked in my first funded account with TopStep, where I actually got the 2 payouts, so I got the $1,000 payout and the $2,000 payout before ultimately blowing that account. What worked in that account was that the fact that I was looking to get one-to-ones, right? And I'd only risk about $200 to $300 every single day. And again, I'd be looking to make $200 to $300 every single day as well. And so I had that one-to-one, and it was very simple because my mind could very easily handle the amount that I was risking. So I never felt pressure or anything like that, because I knew if I ended up losing that day, that I would just come to the markets the next day and I'd be able to, probably make that or even more, right? Sometimes I will let my trade run for a 1-to-2 or 1-to-1.5. That may be the case, but all in all, I would only be risking about $200, $300, and I was very comfortable risking that. And so once I got my payouts, I figured, I need to scale up quick, because again, I see on social media that everyone's winning, everyone has these supercars, everyone's making like 10 to 15 grand every single day. Again, you know how the space is. If you guys are watching this video, it's very likely that you've already seen these trading gurus, and not everyone is fake, but a lot of what you do see out there is pretty fake, man. It's very curated. It's very, they're just going to show you their big wins, when in reality, you don't really know what their situation is. Anyway, I fell victim to that, and I allowed that to sway my psychology in a very negative way. And what ended up happening was I started to chase the home runs. So instead of being happy with my consistent base hits that I was hammering away at the base hits, I started chasing these home runs. And what ended up happening was, this is where I ended up losing and started to blow my account, because I was risking more, trying to get more. And again, it started a very bad spiral of me blowing through all the payout funds that I had, and ultimately dipping back below. I blew all my payout money, and then some, right? I started throwing more money of my own back into the prop firm, and it's not really a good look psychologically, because when you start winning, you almost feel like this is yours now. You feel very entitled to the money, and so when you have to give that money back, ultimately, you start to feel it psychologically. You start to feel like shit. And anyway, I've been up and down for the last little bit. So what I figured with this one account that I have right now, and the results that you guys have been seeing, is that I'm gonna stick to the $200 to $300 risk per day. I know it's not sexy, it's not fancy, it's nothing crazy, you know, $200 to $300 a day. The PL doesn't even look that great, but at the end of the day, it is something that I can wrap my head around, right? It's very easy for me to replicate, and that's what we want to do as a trader. We want to come into the market every single day and just replicate the same system over and over again. Just can we, you know, like hone in on the process itself and just focus on that process itself. That's where you're going to see the most results. And that's evident with what you guys are seeing on the screen with, you know, last week, it was a little shaky because again, I started to document my journey as well. So I started making short videos. You guys will see it on my YouTube channel. If you guys look at the shorts, you'll see I started documenting the day-by-day journey of me trying to get to 100K in trading profits. And you know, when you start to do something like that, it does affect you a little bit, or it affects me. It affected me a little bit. But then nonetheless, I realized that no one really gives a fuck. No one really cares about my journey. And if you do, you know, shout out you. And I hope you guys learn from my mistakes and just my thesis in general and what I, you know, what I'll be saying in these videos. I hope it resonates with you guys. But if not, that's cool too. But yeah, you know, it affected me a little bit, and so I started off the series a little shaky, but nonetheless, I was able to come into this week, same plan, right? I had that, and the nice thing about Top Step is that you can actually set the loss limit, and you can also set a trade limit. So I set a 3 trade limit, and I have a 15 per max, or like 15 max trades per week. And the way I see the trade limit and the max trades, and also, sorry, the daily loss limit of which I have for $300. When you put these, or when you utilize these tools that Top Step has, yeah, it kind of feels like you're limiting yourself, but at the same time, it's like when you're trying to learn how to ride a bike. You don't just hop on the bike and try to learn. First, you're gonna hop on the bike with training wheels. You're gonna get a feel for how it feels, and then when you feel like you're ready, then you take the training wheels off, and still you may not be able to ride it properly because again, it's a different feel from going from training wheels to without training wheels. But the concept is that you'll be more ready after going or like riding the bike with the training wheels than you would be if you just hopped on the bike without the training wheels. And yes, there are a lot of people that can just ride a bike without training wheels. They never had to use training wheels to learn. You know that, and I would just consider that people that, you know, have been trading for a year and somehow they're profitable. It's everyone's at their own pace, right? It's a you versus you journey. And so you shouldn't be comparing yourself to other people thinking that, oh, they did it in a year, I should be able to do it in a year. That's false. They don't live the life that you live. They don't go through the problems that you go through, and they don't have the same tendencies as you, right? And maybe they had a head start in life. You don't know that. Again, so it's very crucial that you do not compare yourself to other people. But with that being said, putting that trade limit, the 3 trade limit, and also the daily loss limit has allowed me to become much more of a sniper because it forced me, because now I know, okay, listen, I only have 3 entries and I only have $300. So if I fuck this shit up, it's over, bro. I can't trade today. Like, that's it. That's all I'm gonna do. And having a $300 daily loss limit ensured that I will only lose $300 every single day. I will only lose $300. And listen, this is where greed really plays a part, because I always have that voice in my head telling me, oh, you can make a lot more, bro. Just get rid of that limit, get rid of that limit. But I realized that if I actually want to become consistent, right? Because I've already gotten payouts, but then again, I've thrown all the payout money back into these prop firms. And the reason being is because I will deviate away from my plan. And so what I need to do right now is I need to just put the training wheels back on and just stick with the system for at least a month, right? At least 30 days. I want to have that $300 loss limit and then the 3 trade limit. And as you guys can see from the results of this week, man, like last week I lost a bunch of trades. I lost 4 trading days, but I was only down $300 on the account overall because obviously I had 2 winning days from the week before. But then this week I managed to make all that money back and then some, right? And again, it's nothing crazy. I did move my profit target from $300. So I had a 1-to-1. Basically, I had $300 loss limit and a $300 profit limit. And I moved that up to $500 just because, judging based on my system of trading continuation model, mainly, sometimes I will take some discretionary trades. It depends. But for the most part, I am taking continuation type trades. And from what I've seen, it's very easy for me to snipe a 1-to-1.5 RR. And again, you know, it's better to have a little bit of a positive RR just because you can take more losses and you'll be fine in the long run. But nonetheless, I moved that just so I could be a little bit more satisfied with the winning days that I do have, knowing that, they're going to be greater than the losing days. And as you guys can see from the last losing day that I had on, this Friday, today, as you can tell, I took some sloppy entries, but because I had the 3 trade limit, I only ended up losing $227. And now, of course, I could have had the whole $300, but I still wanted to manage my trade as I would any other trade. And because of that, I actually ended up losing less than I had anticipated. And that's a great thing because if you can see all of the other days, I've actually made a lot more than $227. So if I can keep my losses small and my wins will just keep winning, they'll keep doing their thing. Those things will add up. And I guarantee you by the end of the month, I'm gonna be able to get another payout, and then we're gonna scale up and we're gonna do things the right way now, right? And hopefully this video it's kind of like a rundown. It's basically like an update of how my trading is going right now. But hopefully you guys get the gist of it and you guys understand what I am trying to tell you guys here. It's stick to your system, man. Stick to the system. Do not let the outside noise, what's the word here? Don't let the outside noise fuck up your mojo, right? Because all that shit that happens externally has nothing to do with you and your own processes. So it's very imperative that you stick to your own system. Make sure that none of these outside factors or noise, that's not affecting you at all, because at the end of the day, it is a you versus you game. And if you start thinking that your opponent is someone else and you take your eye off the real opponent, which is yourself, you're most certainly going to lose. You're most certainly going to lose because you're not even fighting the real opponent anymore. You're too busy swinging at somebody else, thinking that they're fighting you, when really your opponent's just, sitting there crossed arm, just waiting, looking at you, wondering what the fuck you doing. So lock in, boys. It was a good week. Hopefully it was a good week for you guys as well. But yeah, stick to the plan. I keep saying this over and over again, but we're stamping it into existence. And hopefully the next update video, hopefully we're looking for another profitable week. That's it, man. Stay frosty. Take it easy, boys.